We're good.
Recording.
Perfect. So just a little introduction first without going into too much detail. This is so funny to me because I've been to Avon parties and Norwex cleaning cloths parties and never saw myself doing a party like this, but here we are for a Tranaught launch party. It's just so fun and light, and I have just such a joy in sharing something that's touched my life with no expectation, but it might bless you, it might bless someone in your life. And so that's why we're here. So welcome. So I'll just say my best discoveries have come. I wrote notes so I don't go off track and talk too much, you guys, because you all know I can talk and I want to be mindful of everyone's time. Hi, Jessie. Hi, Trishy. Aw, so good to see you all here. Okay. So my best discoveries have come from a willingness to admit to myself about where I feel truly challenged. So even though I'm always growing and discovering great things, I always keep an open mind to where even more cool things might arise. And then an open-mindedness, to explore and try something on for size and see how it goes. So as many of you know, I teach yogic practices, which reduce a lot of the need for external interventions. And I have experienced much healing in seemingly impossible ways. But in yoga, we know that food is as important of a tool as the practices that we do to bring balance to the body. So for me, the next thing to resolve in my life journey is food related. And its many health enhancing benefits. So during the past few years, like many of us, I have personally been humbled by the impact of tremendous loss and grief, and all that comes along with some transformation. And so I've been humbled by the impact of some of these things upon my own system. And so during this time, some not so great food choices, some less physically active days than I'm used to. And I've experienced my body in ways that I hadn't been used to before. So I've experienced Tranaught as an impactful supplemental ally in this journey towards restoring balance. And so, like I said, the yogic practices are a big part for me, but the food side is another. And, even things like our food sources can play a little bit on our systems, particularly if they're processed or cooked. We'll get into that later. So I think that's all for that part, just for my introduction. I'll share about some of the things that have touched my life personally and the people I know. Over to you, Benny. Thank you for hosting this.
You're welcome. I'm going to pass it to Leslie next.
Yay. Hi. I'm so excited for everybody to be here. I will just speak a little bit to how I know Ange. So Ange and I live together. Well, we didn't live together, but we know each other from living in Tofino together. It's been a few years now since that age of our lives. I got turned on to the Tranaught stuff through Benny in November, December, and I didn't realize at the time, but I was probably the most depressed I've ever been in my life. And I've always considered myself an extremely positive person, very strong, so you don't necessarily allow for that in your mind as to be part of who you are. But I decided, I know Benny, I trust Benny. And she was like, I have this amazing thing. And I thought, all right, you're a person in my life I would trust. And I need a win. I needed something to help get things going. I have 3 little kids and I'm a single mom. And it was like, I'm not in the right mind space to be the best person for them. And that's really hard. And then you get in a cycle of feeling really bad about that and you can't get your way out. So I was really just sort of down and not realizing it. So I started taking the collagen. And I did it for a month and I took some before pictures and some after pictures and I was completely blown away. And I tell people it was a catalyst for me. I had a win in the health and wellness space that was passive, which was what I needed. I needed it to not be something I had to put a ton of effort in because for years I've been putting effort in how I eat, what I eat, how much I eat, this and that, like, and it becomes an overwhelm and then becomes part of the problem. So this was like, my body was showing me signs of winning in a way that I had never seen before. And then it just all started to go from there. And so then I couldn't help but share with everyone what was going on. And then Ange saw that. And then the whole thing just grows and grows and grows. So, but it's this wonderful, like Benny and Ange and like everyone we work with, we all just have these amazing vibration. We're like, it's all these people, right, who are lifting each other up and just at that same vibration. We've been looking for like-minded people for years since living in Tofino, because that's one of those things about a small town is kind of everyone around you is in that same mind frame. And when you leave that, you know, you're going back to the big busy city and you know you're going to get lost, and you do get a little lost. So this is wonderful. We have all these connections with people who are in that same frame of mind. So I'm super blessed, feeling really wonderful about that.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to jump in and introduce myself. So, my name is Benny Martin and I'm here in Victoria, BC. So, if you haven't already, put where you are in the comments because we want to hear where you're tuning in from. And I've known Leslie a long time. We are both moms. We both are very like-minded. And I started taking some of these products back in August and September. And I just had such an impact in a short period of time. So we're going to go into more detail about the products, but I'm just going to tell you the reason why I'm here is this liquid collagen. I had plantar fasciitis and hip pain for about 8 years. And within about 2 weeks of taking our collagen, I was noticing a real difference. And I've been on a health journey for many years, as I'm sure we all have, in different modalities and different, different ways of healing. But this was one thing that just really, one shot a day, made a huge impact on my life. And I actually just got back from Mexico. And this is the first time I've gotten back from a trip that I don't feel beat up. Normally my body, the wear and tear on traveling and eating different foods and having more sugar and different things I'm not used to will flare up different things that I have going on in my body, but I feel fantastic. So we're so excited to share a little bit more about why we're all here today and some of the products that we love. We'd love to hear from you guys. What are some of the things that you're dealing with your own health? Maybe it's a goal you have, maybe it's a challenge. My health goal last year was energy. That was my number one goal. I was feeling depleted. I don't know if anybody can relate to that. Anybody relate to feeling depleted in one way or another? And it was actually one of my coaches that suggested that it was a depletion in like supplementation. And so I had started to look into it. And once again, once you find something you absolutely love, you then share it with your loved ones. And I know I shared with Leslie from a place of love. So we're going to go into more about that today. But first, I just want to share a little bit about the company that we're talking about. It's Ternat. And it took me a few weeks just to pronounce the name. It's actually a French word for change life with stealth. And that's exactly what we're seeing. Even, my mom, who has a cupboard full of supplements, says that the collagen is the one that she actually notices a noticeable difference when she takes it. What I love is we have a transparency promise. So quality of ingredients has always been really important to me. And I know Leslie as well, whether it's what I'm putting on my skin or putting in my body or taking as a supplement. So these supplements are all from raw whole foods, except our collagen, which is bovine, non-GMO. And one thing that I've learned is that about 90% of the supplements in Whole Foods, grocery stores, wherever you get them, even from my naturopath, are often synthetic. So synthetic vitamins are definitely the most available on the market. And so one of the differences here is they're all from raw whole foods. So our antioxidant blends are from real fruits and vegetables. And for anyone who is like, I'm not sure if it's synthetic or not, one of the easiest ways to look is if you look for vitamin C, whether it's in a multivitamin or anything else. And if it will say ascorbic acid, that is a synthetic. I also love that everything is gluten-free. That's really important to me. There's no phosphates, there's no fillers, all real ingredients. The other thing I love is we have what's called a scientific advisory board. So we have scientists and doctors. I know Angela loves the book by Dr. Barry Tan. He's one of our doctors and scientists on our panel. And their job is to come up with the best of the best in each category to put out to us to consume. So that's what I love about that. And then my favorite part is the hundreds and thousands of testimonies from my friends and, you know, our friends and family that are taking the products. And that's really how we learn, right? When we have wins and we share that with other people. So we're going to share a little bit more about that today. And we're going to jump in and just share about a few of the favorite ones that we've experienced and what the impact has been on our lives. We always say that we don't claim to heal, cure, treat anything. However, when you give the body what it needs, it can really have amazing results on what we can do. Leslie, do you want to jump in and share first about the Enrich, which is our full spectrum digestive enzyme?
Yes. And I remember, did you want me to do the pudding demo? Because I'm like, the pudding's over there and I'm on my couch but I might come back and I could do it in the background while you're chatting, actually.
Sure. Do you want to go grab it and I'll start sharing about it?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. So we're going to do a little fun experiment because one of the things I love, anybody else a visual learner here? So I love that we can actually show one of our products and how it works. So we're going to talk about the Enrich. This is a full spectrum digestive enzyme. One of the things I love about it, it is 11 digestive enzymes. So we need digestive enzymes to process our food, to help us break down and absorb the nutrients. So one of the things that I was dealing with was actually a lack of iron. So I was really tired. And the issue was actually absorption. So I was eating all the right foods, but I wasn't absorbing it, even though I was pairing it with vitamin C. And so since I've started taking the digestive enzyme, I've noticed that I'm really absorbing a lot more of the nutrients. And I can tell because I have more energy. It also helps with full elimination. So if anybody here is suffering from any kind of digestive issues, and then we also talk about the gut-brain axis. So we're going to share a few of the results that we've experienced through the digestive enzyme. It also has a stabilized pre and probiotic. So I have these in my purse. I have them in the car. We took them to Mexico everywhere we went. And you take them about 10 minutes before you eat. So anything that is cooked or processed. So for example, last night we actually had a beautiful dinner at a friend's house. It was fish and cooked potatoes and things like that. We need those digestive enzymes to break down our food, and we start losing them as we age. So I don't know if anybody else here has noticed, but the older we get, sometimes the more challenges we have with our digestion. Or, my grandma, for example, I know she is always complaining about a sore tummy. Leslie, do you have the pudding? Here we go.
I have the pudding. Okay, so this is one of those things that I, like Benny was saying, when you're a visual learner. And I just think it's compelling in general, right? You kind of want to see how things go. And when we talk about impact products, we talk about them working right away. This is a really good example of that. So I'm going to try to get it a little more. So I've got my little pudding cup here, highly processed. It's funny because my kids have never seen a pudding cup before because I'm that mom, right? Who's like, no, we don't eat that. So we bring them in the house just for the demos and they're like, what's that? I'm like, that's business. That's not for this. You will not be eating that. We'll make you something else. Chia pudding or whatever. So it's really it's really that sludgy consistency, very, very thick. I'm just going to take one digestive enzyme and bust it up and put it in there. And in fact, I'm one of those people that Benny was talking about who for the first, for my entire adult life, I would probably eliminate every 4 or 5 days, and not super comfortable, not really great, but just that was my pattern. And the idea of doing that more often seemed crazy to me, especially a once a day. I was like, that's too much. That's not healthy, because it just was so far from my norm. And I had tried everything. People like, take Metamucil, do this, eat prunes, eat, like I did all of the things, so many of the things, and just nothing ever really made any difference. I was vegan for a while. I did non-dairy, no flour, no sugar, everything. It didn't matter what I did. And this is the only thing that like probably took a couple of weeks of really taking them every day to be like, oh my gosh, now it's just a normal, happy, healthy experience, which everyone should have, you know, and it's, and now I think I'm actually even more motivated by what Benny was saying before, which is, being able to absorb the nutrients. So I actually will sit down and go to eat something and go, oh, I got to take my enzymes, because if I'm eating, I've created this beautiful, wonderful meal, and then I'm not going to get any of the benefits of that. Like, no, thank you. So, yeah, that's my thing. I'm going to run and grab a glass, Benny, if you want to.
I'm going to share my experience with the Enrich. So one of my things, and I know Angela speaks to you as well, is when you have loved ones that, or people that we care about that are having health challenges, and then we can support their health too. So my boyfriend, Trent, I said, you know what, let's try the digestive enzymes on you. He would experience heartburn most of the time when he ate. And, you know, just talking back and forth, he was sharing that it started happening after after he had kids. So less sleep, aging, all the different things. And he would get heartburn quite a bit. And he's a pretty healthy guy, goes to the gym, does yoga, eats well. He started taking the digestive enzymes a couple before he would eat. And about a week later, we were sitting down, we had dinner, and I looked at him and I said, I haven't heard you like run for Tums or talk about heartburn in about a week. And he was like, oh my goodness, you're right. The other thing is he got on the scale and he had released in 2 weeks about 10 pounds, just being to fully digest his food properly. That was back in September when he started, and he just feels so much better. And he takes them to bowling, guys' night, disc golf, and passes them around now before they have their, you know, beer and barbecue or whatever they're having, because he just feels so much better. And then one of my very good friends, Erica, talking about the gut brain axis. She was similar to me. She was like, I don't know that I have any digestive issues, but I know the gut brain axis is so important. And our gut is responsible for hormone health, for mental health. So she started taking the digestive enzymes, and she called me a couple months later and said, Benny, I haven't had a migraine since December. And what we don't know about Erica is that she has 3 to 15 migraines a month since she was a teenager. And she was actually reaching in the cupboard for toothpaste, and she saw her migraine medication and put the dots together that it had been 2 months and she hadn't needed a single migraine medication. So, you know, when you start dealing with your gut health, some pretty amazing things can happen. Leslie, do you want to show us what happened in that short amount of time? See that liquefy?
I know, and it's been like that for a while. So that so it's not going to come out like that. We just want to be clear, but it is going to break down. And on the other side of this whole thing too, so we talk gut brain axis. My sister and our friend Krista take the enzymes for skin health, so psoriasis, that kind of can help with eczema, all sorts of things. I used to have really, really dry scalp, and I have none of that now. And it is definitely the enzymes. When I don't have them, it starts to kind of come back. But anybody who's suffering, sort of same thing. My sister-in-law takes it. She has IBS. So she's on the other side of things, always really nervous. And there's a social impact as well, right? Like when you're out, you don't know if you should eat anything because you don't know how close you are. And it could be, you know, there's a whole other thing. She takes this now. She doesn't have to worry about that. Like she gets to just go and eat and be free and eliminate whenever she wants. So I bet you guys didn't know we were going to talk about poop so much, but yeah, anyways, just like such a great product. And I give these to my kids too, because it's all whole food, plant-based. So if my kids have a sore tummy, or if they're having trouble or they're not feeling good, I'll break it and put it in yogurt or something and let them eat it. And then, you know, it's usually 5 or 10 minutes later, they're like, I'm going to go have a poo. And I'm like, okay, enjoy yourself. But yeah, anyways.
And my kiddo had bowel surgery when he was 4 months old and gets these hiccups at night. He has since he was a baby, and I'll shake one up in water or a little bit of juice, and right away it takes care of that for him. So just love that there's so many different, things that we can do with the products for the people that we love. So that is the digestive enzyme. So it's going to help you break down your fats, your carbs, your sugars. So you can imagine all the different things that can really benefit our bodies when we're breaking those down properly. So I want to hear in the comments, was anybody surprised by that? The first time I saw the pudding demo, my mind was blown, but also if you're a visual learner, I find it really helps me when I'm remembering to take the digestive enzymes. So that is the digestive enzyme. Next, we're going to talk about my absolute favorite product. And
I was
that
just gonna say, we should switch to vanilla yogurt or pudding. Hey, Leslie. Anyway, continue, Benny. That's good.
I have same thing in my son's art cupboard now. I have all different puddings so that we can do little demos. And kids love doing this too. So it's a good little science experiment. So we're going to talk about the liquid collagen next. This was the very first product that I tried and fell in love with. And this is a liquid collagen. So a little backstory, name no names, I'll turn it backwards, but I was taking a powdered collagen for about 2 years because I had heard that collagen is really good to supplement. So some of the differences, I did not have any results that I noticed with the powder. So a liquid is going to be about 90% absorption. And this one here, as we mentioned before, we have that scientific advisory board. So this has 7 patents. So it is a very unique collagen. You can't find it in the store. And a few things that make it unique is number one, it has 10 grams of protein per serving. So for lean muscle mass, this is a great product, but also quality. So if you look at a collagen that doesn't have protein in it, you're really not paying for quality. It also is collagen peptides, and that is the smallest molecule of collagen. So it's going to absorb when it hits your tongue. And then it also has a few beauty aspects. So it has biotin, and it has a clinical dose. So that's one thing you want to look for. Also the hyaluronic acid, which is like WD-40 for your joints, which is what I experienced, and also really great for your skin as well. Then we have the antioxidant blend. I have yet to find a collagen that has a whole food antioxidant. And we learned the other day when we were on a training with an expert in the industry of skin and hair. Leslie, do you remember how many servings of fruits and vegetables? Was it 6 or 7?
It was, I think she said 4 to 5 servings of fruits and vegetables in each dose,
which is amazing. And then, once again, this is a non-GMO bovine collagen. So it's type 1 collagen, which I was using a marine before, but when I switched and did some research, our bodies as humans were made up of type 1 collagen. So some of the things I noticed just from one shot of collagen every night, I noticed more than the entire basket of supplements I had been taking for about a year. The first one was reduced pain. So I had plantar fasciitis on and off for about 8 years. I have not had any since I started the collagen. And hip pain, it just was, I kind of was just living with it. It was about a 5. Nothing really helped. Massage, chiro, all the different things. I also had a surgery about 3 years ago now. And I got out of the shower after 2 weeks, and I could visibly notice the scars starting to fade from a surgery 3 years ago, which caught my attention. I can't even have it all on the screen, but my hair would not grow. And it was also coming out quite a bit when I was in the shower. I was shedding. And, our body is giving us warning signals and trying to tell us things all the time. And I tried everything, you guys. I made up serums. I tried different oils. I tried eating foods that would help my hair grow for about 2 years. And the liquid collagen I noticed within 2 months. And now it is longer than it has been in over 10 years. And I tried for a very long time to grow my hair. So those are a few things that I have noticed. My mom, who's in her 70s, she mountain bikes and does all different things. And she took the collagen for a month, went down to Arizona and called me from Arizona and said, can you send me more of that collagen? I'm really noticing a difference. And my parents supplement with lots of different things. So that's been my experience with the collagen. That's a little bit why this one in particular is unique. And anything you want to add to that, Angela? You want to share about any of your experiences with the collagen?
Sure. So the collagen is one that I can't take regularly because I'm living a vegetarian lifestyle, maybe a little bit of fish here and there. But I'll tell you, I did take it when I had a nerve injury to my funny bone nerve, the ulnar nerve. I know collagen's helpful in rebuilding that kind of tissue. So I took it for a week while I was healing from that because it was like a 10 pain all the time. And it was very rapid. They say it can take 4 to 12 weeks for it to heal. And that was not an option. I was like, I'm taking the bovine collagen for this. And I took it until I felt enough improvement within 4 or 5 days. And then I stopped and I felt a little pullback on the healing. And then it continued slower to just finish the healing. So it was really neat because I'm pretty in tune with what's going on in the body. And it was really cool just to feel the impact. But I only actually purchased that because when I had a tooth concussion years ago, the pharmacist in Tofino said she recommended taking collagen just to support the structure of everything that had been jostled in the brain and the body, the head. And it was a powdered one, and it kind of helped a little. Again, it was my yoga thing that helped in that, but that's not always the kind of discipline everyone wants to take on. And my partner has a brain injury that he's been dealing with for about 4 years. And so I put 2 and 2 together and thought, I wonder if that would be helpful for him because it's so much more absorbable. So what we noticed was it was actually really cute. He was just on the call and he did actually have to leave because he's had a pretty intense week here. But one of the things which was really cute was we make this thing on our fridge that says what our favorite parts of today were, and we fill in 3 points. And one of the points was just that he enjoyed taking the collagen. It was kind of like a fun shot. It tastes pretty celebratory, I would say. But he was enjoying it. And then within a couple of weeks, I don't ask because I don't want to put pressure on people to have results to report back. So, but it was nice how within a couple of weeks, he had just said he had gone for almost a week without any symptoms. And I had noticed it, like normally if he's having drinks with a hockey game or something, then the next day, a couple of days later, 2 and 3 days later, he would noticeably suffer more. I picked up on this pattern. I didn't say anything, but I noticed that he was going without these episodes that I was used to perceiving. And so when he said it's been a week or so without any symptoms, almost any symptoms, that was amazing. Now he's been about a month and a half into it. And it's been a really big improvement. There are certain things that are extra stimulating, like traveling and lack of rest. Like he's been through a particularly stimulating week and a half here, traveling between Winnipeg and back, and lots of emotion and things. So he's having a hard day today. He actually had to leave the call. But overall, like this buildup of progress has been really remarkable and a much lighter feeling in the home for sure. That's for the collagen.
I love it. Leslie, anything you want to add to that?
Here's the thing. We could each of us go on probably forever. For me, the main difference right away that I noticed was in my legs, my varicose vein. I have really very strong varicose veins in my legs, and my dad had them and had surgery on them. And that doesn't solve the problem. They just come back. And so I was looking at them and was really kind of worried. And I'm always very body positive, was never worried about stuff like that. And I started to get like, I didn't like what they looked like when I was going out with my kids and whatever. So in that first month, Benny, that's what really touched me the most. And I think I reached out to you and I was like, I'm bawling because I couldn't even find, like, there was subdermal. So they were very much puffy out and very painful to like, couldn't really find it in the picture. They're obviously still there under the surface, but they're no longer sort of pushing out, and just, you know, it is what it looks like is kind of what it feels like. The more that they come out like that, the worse. So it's and then I had spider veins and all sorts of things. But for me, again, it's like, I didn't really realize the impact all over, that overall impact. I didn't really realize like, oh, I'm going to sleep better. Oh, my skin's going to feel amazing, but my varicose veins are going to go down. My joint pain is going to be less. Hair, like there's all of these things you don't really think about. So I definitely feel like we could, each of us, go on forever, because then it's like, and then my friend, and then my other friend, and then my mom. But I'll just say for me, that was in the first month, I was astounded, and it just sort of reinvigorated me for like, wow, what an amazing thing. And then it's just all kind of gone from there.
I love it. So the last one we're going to really focus on, and then we might touch on a few more, is our nootropics. And we have two different categories. We have the Mojo, which comes in a chocolate or a coffee. And we also have a Zest, which comes in a lavender, vanilla, and a roasted peach. And I actually was trying to cut coffee out of my life last year, and it kind of kept coming back in because I do really enjoy it. And then I decided to try the Mojo, because coffee, I felt, wasn't agreeing with my tummy, and I was kind of dealing with some health things, and it wasn't really giving me the energy that I was looking for. So I switched to the Mojo in September. And what I noticed right away was an increase of energy, which was my biggest health goal last year. And what I noticed was I was starting to get things done. Like, I had it the very first day, and I cleaned my office for the first time in 2 years. I just did not have the energy to do it for the last 2 years. And then the other thing, I'm also a single mom. My son is 7. And I just found after he went to bed, I was exhausted. I would either fall asleep with him and then wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, or I just wouldn't have the energy to do the dishes and, put myself to bed. So what I started noticing was I had that energy until like 9 o'clock at night, and it was pretty steady. I didn't get a crash in the afternoon. I didn't feel like I needed a nap. And there were a few nights where, for whatever reason, he was sick, different things happened, that I only got 4 or 5 hours. And normally I'm wrecked. If I don't get enough sleep, I do not do well. And I found I had my Mojo, and I was really able to function. So I switched my Mojo. I have not gone back to coffee. I do the Brazilian coffee Mojo. And the nootropics, they stimulate your happy hormones. So the dopamine, they also have chromium and L-theanine in them. So it's going to help curb your appetite. So some people notice that they're not snacking or craving sugar as much, and really going to help sustain that energy. Mental health is something that, we've started talking about quite a bit. And my co-parent, we've been supporting each other as co-parents for a long time. And he suffers from depression. And he's also diagnosed and takes medication for bipolar. But he still often is quite sad. He's just sad a lot of the time. So this was very recent, a couple of weeks ago. I said, why don't you try the Zest, which is the fruit version. He doesn't drink coffee. And another product we have called Focus, which is lion's mane mushroom and B vitamins. So he started taking the Zest, and he sent me a selfie of himself smiling. And I had not actually seen a picture of him smiling in years, like years. I have not seen him smile, like that ear to ear, just happy smile. And he texted me and said that his coworkers were like, you were in a very good mood today. And I got back from Mexico, and he saw my son, and we gave a big hug, and he said, I'm still feeling really, really good. Like, this stuff is really working. So once again, we're sharing about how we can help the people that we love. So that's a more recent one. Leslie, anything you want to share about the Mojo? Sorry, I think I got you.
Every time. We've got to put a disclaimer where we're like, bring tissues to the call, because it's always going to do this to you. Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing for me. I switched over and that is 100% what got me out of that funk and that really sad place. I have 3 kids as a single mom, and there's this term out there, mom rage, and it's not rage, but it's like, it's something you never really want your kids to see, this side of you, but they also are the reason that that side comes out. So it's so much, there's this huge like power struggle in that emotion, and then there's all this guilt around like, how did I just react like that? And I'm just like, I don't have to do that anymore. It's like my thoughts go to like, I'm about to lose it. And there's just something that is, I have a moment. And when I didn't have the mojo and the zest, I didn't have that moment. I just went there. And then I'm really great. I come back, we sit, we talk, I apologize, and we figure out, and that's fine. So I'm not saying I don't get mad. I do get mad, but not to the extent and not as often as I did before. And I just live my life around like creating memories for my children. And I'm like, I realize I actually think I focus on that a lot, maybe more than other people. So it really sits with me heavily if I do something I didn't love. And those are little learning opportunities, but I just didn't want them to happen as often as they were. And I have a few friends that same thing. They're like, I really want to try this. And I give it to them and they're like, I have this amazing energy. And like you said, focus, things to get done, things that weren't getting done for years in my house, which then I feel bad about, which then that compounds how I'm feeling about myself. And it all is just, it snowballs into where you just feel overwhelmed, like you're living in that overwhelm. And it's like, every time I feel that, I'm like, I was driving the other day, I was like, oh, I got to go, jam with a friend. I'm like, well, I'm having a yawn. I'm feeling tired in the afternoon. And I literally texted her and said, I have to go home. I'm going to have a zest and then I'll head there because I want to show up in the energy that we both want in the room when we're creating. I don't want to show up, I'm like super tired and just feeling terrible. So just like, okay, sure. And it just took me an extra 20 minutes. I came home, I quickly made up a drink, I head back out on the road, and we had 3 or 4 hours where we played and it was so great. And I'm like, I love that I have those tools in my toolkit that when I need them, I can go use them. And I don't have to sit around and be like, oh, I drank that thing that's, gave me energy, but it's not that great for me. There's zero, it's like wonderful it's so, yeah, I could go on forever, but it's so good. Anyways, that's my take.
We have some team members as well who work night shifts. A couple team members have husbands who are truck drivers, and they started using the Zest and the Mojo and have noticed such a difference in being able to stay awake and do their job. If you know anybody that does night work, that is not my calling. So yeah, that is the nootropics. It comes in a fruit. We actually made it into like an iced one in Mexico that was really lovely. So those are the nootropics. We're just going to briefly touch upon a few more, and then I'm going to see if Angela wants to add anything in. So one of the ones I never thought I would be interested in, and then a friend showed me her before and afters from a month, is our Rejuvenate Skin Cream. And this literally replaces all the different creams, the night cream, the eye cream, the retinol. And I have started using this, and it has been amazing. I love that it's one step. My partner uses it as well. He has really dry skin, and I've also used it on my son when he has a cold and he gets like the roughness under his nose, and it's the only thing that works. I've tried coconut oil, all the different things, but this one is absolutely amazing. And then we wanted to touch upon the Nourish and the Renew. So the Renew is a vitamin E, but it is from the annatto tree in the Amazon, and it was discovered by Dr. Barry Tan. This is an antioxidant. So antioxidants are amazing. They can help lower cholesterol. They can help with inflammatory things, liver, skin health. I'm just reading the comments there. And this one in particular, when we started learning about different vitamin E's, this one is about 50 times more potent than other vitamin E's because of this source. So this one comes from the annatto tree in the Amazon, and he literally has written an entire book on it. Angela, I know you've read this. Anything you want to chime in on the vitamin E?
Just that I had tried vitamin E years ago. I had some kidney scarring, and then I also had I had tried it on my skin before. So I knew vitamin E could be very healing and soothing. But I was particularly interested in the impact it can have on the heart, being the more the alpha and delta versions of the tocotrienol side of vitamin E. So the tocopherol side is the more common side, and that doesn't have nearly as many benefits for the system. It's not as life enhancing, we'll say, as the tocotrienols. And that comes, so the annatto plant has only tocotrienols, and mostly the higher potent and, just the alpha and the delta and gamma, I should say. So it's just, and what I love about Dr. Tan's book is like, and even hearing him in videos, is he's very reverent for the fact that he didn't create it. To me, that's really important. He discovered it in nature, and he gives credence to that side of things. I've had some heart challenges this year, so I've just started taking it. I finally treated myself after treating everyone else because of a great loss in my heart, and then also eating less favorable foods for comfort food for various things I've been handling. So yeah, I was really drawn to that. But the book itself is so inspiring, and I'm not really into supplements normally. So these high impact ones that can pack a punch were quite fascinating to me. And I only got interested because I saw such a transformation in my friend Leslie. And I just wanted to know what was going on. It wasn't her words even so much as just the way she was. And that was when I reached out. But back to you about Renew. So the Renew.
So that's the Renew, also really good for hormone health as well. So we can answer any more questions people have. We're just kind of doing a snidbit, or the last one I'm just going to touch upon. And then I'm actually going to pull up some slides and just show some before and afters, because Leslie and I can share what it's like. But when you see before and after, so I always tell people, take photos, because when you see that progress in yourself, it makes you want to keep going on that journey. So for me, it's now been 9 months taking the collagen, and it's the thing I've been most consistent with because I was able to see and feel results. The last one we're going to talk about really briefly is the Nourish. This is a meal replacement. Leslie, do you want to talk about this one?
I'm
also excited about this one. Go ahead.
I'll do mine really short then, and you can say something too.
Okay.
So it was, again, like impact products. I wanted to try each thing one at a time. And I want to throw all of them at my body and overwhelm her, or also not be able to attribute what was happening to each one. So Nourish was actually fairly new for me. I had some, they had come when I, got a bunch of stuff. And so I decided I was going to try doing 2 weeks and just adding in a shake every day. I didn't take any food out of my diet. In fact, I actually got sick and I ate really poorly. And so I really wasn't expecting anything. All I did was add the smoothie every day. And because for me, weight management is important, and I'm trying to get really healthy and strong in my body. That was my goal this year, is strength in my body. So all of that is, every product is, part of that. And in 2 weeks eating really poorly, I was down 6 pounds, and I was like, but I don't understand. And so it was just like, they taste really good. I feel energized. There's beauty benefits to it and all that stuff, but it also really does make a huge difference. Another person on our team, Leah, same thing. She always has smoothies every day. And all she did was change her previous protein powder to this one. She didn't make any changes at all. That was the only thing. And she saw, I think about the same amount of weight loss in a couple of weeks, just switching out that one thing. So obviously the right ingredients absorbed properly into the body, and really sort of, I also find that when I have my shake, I feel energized. Whereas we all know when we're not processing foods properly, because the shake has the digestive enzymes in it as well. So you feel really great. You start to get the energy and the nutrients from the shake, from anything else you add in, which I only add in fresh fruit, vegetables, coconut water, that kind of thing. So yeah, been amazing and tastes so good.
And then one of the things that is unique is it has lots of different vitamins and minerals, and the minerals are chelated minerals, as well as there's an ingredient called Oliglow, and it has the makeup of human breast milk. So we know the benefits of that. And so that has the same structure and the same benefits and right here in the protein. So I know a lot of people, I like to have this when I'm either on the go and don't have time, or when I'm sick, to make sure I'm getting all those minerals and nutrients. So this is really great. Often in the summertime, it's too hot to eat lunch or something like that. So this one's really great. Anything you want to add to that, Angela, before we start wrapping up?
Yeah, I just, I wasn't looking for a meal replacement. I was actually thinking about the intermittent fasting because I've heard such great things about that. But because of where my relationship with food has been, that's a tough one for me. And that was like, I just didn't see being able to even try intermittent fasting for very long. So I thought, I wonder if this could help me do that, because I'd like to just shed a little bit of extra weight that I particularly had gained this year. So, and I've been working at a bakery at 5 a.m. till 9 a.m. And so on some level, it's just been really fun to be like, let me just have some pastries for fun while I'm here at 5 a.m. and I'll have some extra coffees and this, that. And oh my gosh, like I never really in my whole life have had like bloating. That's like really new for me, like to that level. And it's not just working at the bakery, but it's just been like intermittent and more through this past year. So that's why I wanted to fast mainly, was to just sort of reduce this bloating, get the digestion going. But I didn't even have faith that I wasn't addicted to food to do that. So I just thought, let me just try this. It's nourishing for the gut. So it's a meal replacement, but that's not my thing, but it's a nourishing one. It's got chlorophyll and one other claw word, but that's really good for detoxifying the system as well. And so what I noticed within the second day I took it, I was in the bakery and I could feel the, what do you call it? Like the little instinct to go for something. And I'd be like, actually, I don't even want to. Like I could feel the ruts of habit and the usual draw to grab some pastries and whatever. Like there's all kinds of treats. I make really nice treats. And I was like, actually, I'm good. And so much energy. And then by the third day, I woke up without bloating. And that was like, this is something to admit, but like, I've never woken up and thought, man, I don't even like have pants that feel good to get into because everything's just so uncomfortable. But yeah, the third day in, I was just like, oh my gosh, we're working again. Like it was just a nice cleansing process, and it's got the digestive enzymes, which are supportive. Yeah, so that was amazing. And then I'll just throw in here, Benny, while I'm on me, and then I'll just pass it over to you to do whatever we close. The Replenish tea was the other thing I got, because that same doctor that was talking about the skin and the hair and just the overall system, she had said that this Replenish tea, which is like a 7 mushroom tea, was the most it was an effective but also very gentle heavy metal detox. So that was appealing to me for various reasons, which I won't go into right now, but if that's something that's interesting to you. And I'll say that like what I'm noticing with all of these is like they give a recommended dosing, but I have found like with the Replenish tea, it calls for a 3/4 teaspoon. And I just decided to start off with like a quarter. And it was so powerful because the whole detoxing thing can be very powerful. Like if you've ever done like a whole foods detox when you're used to having processed foods, it's very intense on the body. So I reduced it. So I think I took like I think I took half a teaspoon, but then the next day I was like, I'm going to take a quarter. And it was still quite powerful. And then I realized, oh, that was an eighth. It was the 1/8 teaspoon, not the quarter. Like it was so potent. And yeah, it just feels really nice. I only do that one on weekends because it is so intense and I just need like more water, more rest, but it feels good knowing that these mushrooms are just pulling away some of these heavy metals that can be so boggy. Yeah.
I love it. And I love the Replenish for sleep. So
it's so like it just is, it so brings about such a deep rest. Like,
yeah,
like brush your teeth before you take it because it's so powerful. And the thing with the face creams you mentioned, Benny, and also the face cleanser, is that I've been in spas for many years and people say, oh, you just need the tiniest bit. And that's true. Like you do need less Jessica than I normally would take. our bosses would be like, okay, and like even less than that. And I'm thinking I'm taking less. Like I had to really focus on like not using too much. But this product, I'm like, wow, it just goes. Like even I'm so amazed. So I feel like it's a pretty nice, value for what you spend. All of these, like I think they're quite potent, that if you're feeling, value for the dollar is really theirs. So I think that's it.
I love it. So we went through a lot of products. I'm just going to recap. I'd love you to throw in the comments if there's one that's caught your attention. Someone was just mentioning, is there something good for rosacea? And actually the very first person who reached out to me suggesting the Glow was taking the Glow, and she had rosacea. So the Glow as well as the Rejuvenate face cream would be awesome for that. And then the digestive enzyme, really good for anything skin as well. So we talked about that Enrich, the digestive enzyme. We talked about the Collagen Glow. We talked about the Mojo and the Zest, the nootropics. We talked about the vitamin E. We talked about the Rejuvenate face cream. We talked a little bit about the Nourish meal replacement shake. And we also just touched upon the Replenish tea. So I'd love for you to throw in the chat if there was a product that jumped out at you. And if you guys have any questions, please reach out to Ange or Leslie or myself, and we're happy to answer. I'm just going to pull up my slides and show you a few before and afters just so you can see some of the differences.
Can I have one thing, Benny?
Yeah.
I really want to emphasize, because this is outside my comfort zone, but one thing I really want to emphasize is that I have, no expectations today, but it's more about like, if someone comes to mind who could benefit from this, then you just can keep this in the back pocket of your mind, but yeah, let's go for it. Let's have a look.
All right. So this is Leslie. Give a wave. So this is what she's talking about with her veins and her leg. And she called me after a month and she was in tears. So you can just see the difference. This is 1 month on the Glow Collagen. You can definitely see it in your face as well. A lot of our friends definitely have that glow about them. This is Krista, who is Leslie's bestie, who I met her, on the left here, and she was not feeling well. And this is her today. She's also driving a Jeep with the company, which is exciting. And these are her legs, which Leslie, you've known her a long time and you've never seen her with clear legs from psoriasis before. So that is pretty amazing. This is me. I went to go put on this tank top, and this here on the left, you guys, I spent years trying to grow my hair that long. That was it. And this was my hair as of recent. So I was mentioning my scars are something that I was noticing right away. And then we were talking a little bit about connective tissue. But one of the other things that happened for me about a month and a half after the collagen was I actually got feeling back in the area that I had surgery, which I was told I would only have about a 10% chance of getting that feeling back, which I was not expecting. This is our friend Beth, who has fibromyalgia, has had amazing results from using the Glow, the Enrich, as well as the Optimize, which we didn't even talk about today, and that Rejuvenate face cream. This is my face here, and I've noticed a huge difference. This is our friend Glenda. Even her eyelashes are growing, and she had a deep kind of wrinkle in her nose that she's noticed has gone away. And this is my friend Jill. She actually was just been using the Glow for 2 weeks and has noticed a huge difference. So we also have some, we have a testimony group called The Ripple Effect. And it's great to just search if there's something that you're looking for, some more information. So we're going to end here, but if you are interested, I know, Angela has some specials that she can share just to like help people get the products. So if you're interested in that at all, just throw special in the comments. We'll make sure we reach out to you. And as we mentioned before, if you have any questions, please reach out. Is there anything you want to end with, Leslie or Angela?
I just want to say thank you everybody for coming. I know it's always hard to coordinate. I'm so like, I love we're so coast to coast. We're literally Tofino to Nova Scotia. We've covered the entire country. We're good. This is so cool. But it's just really lovely to meet all of you little light beings out there. And I'm so happy to help. And if you have any questions, you know, let Ange know. And I'm here to support her and Benny's here to support me. No one is alone in this. We're all here to help each other out. So yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, happy Sunday,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thanks
And
so much,
Ange, do you want to end it off?
Yeah, I'll just say thanks for taking time out. Some of you I haven't seen in a really long time, and what a great excuse to get to see your sweetheart faces. And if any thoughts come to mind or questions, I'd love to hear your feedback anytime. And just wishing you all the very best with your continued wellness journey, wherever it leads you. Yeah, thanks everyone.
Thank you. So I'm going to stop the recording and I'm going to stay on a couple more minutes. If anyone has any questions about anything,